Unit 1 review problem number 10 is a linear regression problem. The number of insured commercial banks in the United States for the years 1987 through 1996 are shown in the table. Write a linear regression model and round to the nearest hundredth. Don't forget this part. Okay, so I like to write over the top of this. Remember when we were working with years, your years are your x values, and as you can see, your y values are here. Also notice that they're in terms of thousands. We'll have to come back to that later on. So with years, instead of typing in 1987 to the L1 column, we're going to type in 0. What's the difference? 1, 2, 3. Always checking back to 1987. Okay, what's the difference here between 1992? It's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, second plus 7, 1, 2. I'm going to turn the diagnostics on by hitting second catalog. Whoops, second catalog, scrolling down until I get to the D's. And pressing enter twice. Alright, so now we're going to go stat, edit. In the L1 column, I'm going to type in the numbers 0 through 9. Pressing enter after each one. Now use the arrow to go to the L2 column. In the L2 column, I'm going to type in each one of the given decimals from the table. Alright, so you have in your L1 and your L2 column. Now do second quit. Go back into stat, and we're going to calculate a linear regression model. Okay, we want to rounding to the nearest hundredth. Instead of remaining at a 5, this will bump it up to a 6. Same thing, instead of remaining at a 7, we'll bump up to an 8. Using the linear regression model from part A, we're going to predict the number of insured banks. We want to know the number of banks. Okay, so we want to know the number of insured commercial banks. Whoops, sorry. Predict what year. Predict what year. So I want to know the X. So I wanted to find X value, and you're given a Y value of 7,000. Now here's the key. You're not going to type in 7,000 for Y because it states up above that this is within thousands. So this is like 13,700 or 12,340. So instead of typing in 7,000, you're going to divide this number by 1,000 to get 7. Okay, so I have 7 equals, substituting 7 in for Y. And use a calculator to solve. Last step is going to be to divide here by negative 0.46. So I have 14.5 as my answer. And we want to know, predict which year. So if year 9 is 1996, remember you're going to take the number of years and add it onto the original, which is 1987. So during the year 2001, we can predict there'd be about 7,000 insured banks. And it would drop below that during this year, during the year 2001, it would drop below that mark. Okay, again, using the linear regression model, we want to predict how many of these banks. So we want to find the y value, and we're given an x value. Now the x value is not 2015. Remember, you always have to go back to the original number of 1987 for this problem and subtract. So 2015 minus 1987, this gives you actually an x value of 28. So we want to know a y value when x is 28. Using a calculator, and if this is your final answer, you're going to get it wrong, because remember, it's in terms of thousands. So you have to take it times 1,000, which has a final answer of 800 insured commercial banks.